Good morning, Nstp trainees. Now, this morning we will be dealing with one of the most relevant topics in our society today, especially that this also talks about the welfare, safety, and well being of the youth. The youth today needs to have a deeper knowledge on drug education and also to have a full understanding on the provisions of the law through the Republic Act 9165, also known as the Comprehensive Drugs Act of 2002. Now, at the end of our lesson this morning, you will be able to explain the importance of RA 9165 or the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. Second, you'll also be able to distinguish drug use, drug abuse, and drug misuse. And the last objective, or you are expected to value the importance of life by creating a radio drama relating to the situation in our society today. Now we focus on the Republic Act 9165, and later on we will be talking with its provisions. RA 9165, also referred to as the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, and it was approved on January 23, 2002, repealing RA 6425, otherwise known as the Dangerous Drugs Act of 1972. Now, what are the important provisions of RA 9165? First, it established the Dangerous Drugs Board, which is the policy making and strategy formulating body. Second, it also created the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, or the PDEA, which is the implementing arm of this law. Third, it pursues campaign against drug trafficking and use of drugs. And on Section 2, on the declaration of the policy, it states there that it is the policy of the state to safeguard the integrity of its territory and the well-being of all the Filipinos, particularly the youth, with or from the harmful effects of dangerous drugs on their physical and mental well-being. And in view of these circumstances, the state needs to enhance further the implementation of the law against dangerous drugs. It is also being one of today's more serious social problems. And toward this end, the government shall pursue an intensive and unrelenting campaign against trafficking and use of dangerous drugs and other similar substances through an integrated system of planning, implementation, enforcement of anti-drug abuse policies, programs, and projects. Second is to provide treatment and rehabilitation programs to reintegrate into society drug abusers or dangerous drug dependents. So the government shall, however, aim also to achieve a balance in the national drug control program so that people in need of medical attention and treatment will not be prevented from being treated with adequate amounts of appropriate medication. So further declared in this policy that this law provides effective mechanisms or measures to reintegrate into society individuals who have fallen victims to drug abuse or dangerous drug offenders through sustainable programs of treatment and rehabilitation. Now we will be talking about drugs. So what is a drug? It is any chemical substance that by virtue of its chemical nature alters the structure and functioning of a living organism. Later on, I will be providing you with the different pharmacological categories as well as its examples. Now we focus first on the term drug abuse. So what is drug abuse? It occurs when drug is taken under circumstances and at a dose significantly increases their hazard potential whether or not used therapeutically. So there are 7 categories of drugs, namely herbal, second over the counter, third prescription drugs, fourth unrecognized drugs, fifth tobacco, sixth alcohol, 7 illicit drugs. What are herbal drugs? So I know some of you are familiar with this and actually have used some of these herbal drugs. These are plant substances that have drug effects and whose use is not generally regulated by law. So some examples for this are oregano, lagundi, also have luya and senna leaves. So next is over-the-counter drugs. So what are over-the-counter drugs? So these are commercially produced drugs that may be purchased without legal prescription from the doctor or physician. So what are examples of this? First is analgesics. Example is paracetamol. Also have vitamins. Example, Enervon. Okay, so those are examples of over-the-counter drugs. Next is the prescription drugs. These are commercially produced drugs that can be legally sold or dispensed by a physician. So you need a physician to prescribe you with this medicine or these drugs in order for you to be able to purchase. Example for this is the antibiotics. Example, amoxicillin. Okay? Or amoxicillin. Now we continue with the unrecognized drugs. So what are considered or substances that are considered to be unrecognized drugs? So these are commercially products that have psychoactive effects but are not usually considered drugs. Some examples, tobacco, alcohol, commonly abused drug. Now unrecognized drug, tobacco, we will be talking about this one. It holds such distinct position in terms of usage patterns, economic importance, and health consequence that it merits category. Next is alcohol. Alcohol is considered to be one of the most widely used drugs in our society and is regarded as the most commonly abused drug in our society as well. Illicit drugs. So this or the use and purchase of these drugs are prohibited by law. Example is marijuana. Now what are also the pharmacological classifications? First, we have hallucinogens, second, stimulants, third, narcotics, fourth, steroids, fifth, volatile substances. So we will be talking about this pharmacological classification as we go along with our discussion. First, we will have the hallucinogens. So what are hallucinogens? These are material or substances capable of provoking sensations, thinking, self-awareness, and emotion. This also part or a pharmacological classification of drugs that alters time and space, perceptions, and illusions. So example for this pharmacological classification under hallucinogens are ecstasy, marijuana, and ketamine. Now we proceed to steroids. So these are performance enhancing drugs used by athletes commonly to improve appearance and provide strength. Now we continue with the other pharmacological classification, which is also referred to as stimulants. So these are drugs that increase alertness, reduce hunger, and provide a feeling of well-being. So what are examples of stimulants? First, we have cocaine. Second, caffeine in coffee and extra juice, for example. And we also have methamphetamine hydrochloride, which is also known or widely known as shabu. So that's stimulants. Okay, next are narcotics. So what are narcotics? These are drugs which produce insensitivity, stupor, melancholy, or dullness of the mind with delusions. So examples for this are opium, heroin, codeine, and morphine. We also have volatile substances. What are volatile substances? These are liquids, solid, or mixed substances having the property of releasing any chemical substance which induce a condition of intoxication, dullness of the nervous system, excitement, depression, paralysis, irrational behavior, and etc. Examples for this are whiteboard markers, insecticides, gasoline fumes, rugby, paint, and thinner. Now we proceed now to medical issues of drug abuse or addiction. So first is the mental disorders. Second, HIV or AIDS. Third, lung diseases. Fourth, cardiovascular diseases. Fifth, strokes. Sixth, cancers. And there's a gentle reminder here that this life is given to us by our Creator, and it's not up to us to take it. Instead, we must take care of it. Don't destroy it, love it. Don't hate it. Don't choose heavenly pleasures here on earth by means of drugs. Respect the life that is given to you. Respect the life of the people around you. And for we are only given a single life to live, and we must choose to live it well for the greater glory of our God, our Creator. Let's please Him, not hurt Him. Thank you. And that's all for our topic this morning about drug education or the Republic Act 9165, also known as the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002.